Well, good morning to everybody. Hope you're doing well on this Wednesday. Sometimes I have to remember what. Okay, we're going to try this again. Had a little snafu, and then I got a phone call come in I had to take. So um, now we can finally get going. At least it didn't interrupt the game because the game never started. So that's always a good sign there. Hello, Joel, and hello, Jim. Good to see both of you. We are at Yankee Stadium for this game on that was played Friday, July the 10th, 1987. It is game 593 overall in the replay. And it's going to match the Chicago White Sox and the New York Yankees from Yankee Stadium. Yankee Stadium, sevens for singles, and home runs are almost identical. Lefty 9, righty 8. Yankees won this game real world 9-5, ironically, Dolly Parton style. Chicago comes to the game 40 and 42. New York comes in 46 and 40. Pitching matchup for today's game: left-hander Dennis Rasmussen on the mound for the Yankees, and Scott Nielsen, a righty for the White Sox. We'll look at Nielsen in the bottom half of the first. We'll focus mostly now on um, Dennis Rasmussen. Now, what I do need to do is bring the Strat computer back up because didn't have that. When I shut down everything, it closed the Strat computer, obviously. So I need to bring that back up and get that back into working order so that we're ready to go for the game. Takes a couple clicks to get that going. So I can be where I want to be with this. All right, so now we should be in good shape. Dennis Rasmussen. Look at Dennis Rasmussen up close and personal on his card. Dennis Rasmussen, 9-7 with a 4.75 ERA. You can't hear me. Why can't somebody hear me? You can't hear me? You still can't hear me? I can hear myself. So hopefully you can hear me. All right. So as I was saying, Dennis Rasmussen, 9-7, 4.75 ERA in the real season. And on the replay, he is 3-6, ERA of 4.77. So ERA is pretty much right on spot on there. 140, he's pitched 96 hits, 32 walks, 75 in the strikeout area. Thank you, Andrew, for that confirmation. Rasmussen, wild pitch is an 8. His balk is a 0. And he's got a +2 hold. He's a +3, but Rick Cerrone's a -1. Cerrone does have a pass ball rating of 9. So leading things off for the White Sox will be Jerry Royster. He hit 280 on the he's hitting 280 on the replay. 6 homers, 13 driven. He hit a total of 265 in the real season. So he'll lead things off for the White Sox. And before the first pitch, of course, with the ceremonial first sip. That is mandatory on morning games. Okay, we are ready to go. Jerry Royster, Dennis Rasmussen. 1-8, lefty, ground ball to short. Hollison's going to put that away. And there's one away very early to start the ball game. Royster is out of there. That'll bring up the number 2 hitter, Gary Reedus, left fielder. Reedus on the replay hitting 247, 5 homers, 17 driven in. He hit 236 real world. Oh, that one on the outside. So let me redo that one. There we go. 4-9 for Reedus. For Rasmussen, actually, is a ballpark blast. So it's a 1-8 for Gary Reedus, and he does have normal power. But that's an 11. So just a deep fly to left, and that's hauled in out there by Ricky Henderson. 4 out, number 2. 2 up, 2 down brings up the Hall of Famer Harold Baines. Baines on the replay is hitting 289, 7 homers, 39 driven in. He hit 293 real world. Lefty, 2-6. And that's going to be a 1-7 double. 8-20 would be a single. So 2-out single for Harold Baines. He's no threat to run, obviously. And here comes right fielder Ivan Calderon. Good morning, Dan. Calderon on the replay, hitting 282, 10 homers, 30 driven in. He hit 293 real world. 5-6, and that's a base on balls from Rasmussen. So after getting the first 2 outs, all of a sudden, Rasmussen falling into a little bit of a jam. It is now a clutch situation for Greg Walker, another lefty on lefty matchup. Walker hitting 223 on the replay, 4 homers, 26 driven in. He hit 256 real world in the clutch against lefties. He will gain a couple of hits, 1-5 and 1-12. That's a 2-9, and that's going to be a ballpark blast for Greg Walker. 2-9 is a ballpark blast. 1-9, and we've got a 3-run home run. And that's right on the number. Greg Walker, a 3-run home run, just when Dennis Rasmussen thought he was going to get out of the inning unscathed. A 3-run shot from Greg Walker. That is only his fifth. He talked about underperforming. That's only his 5th home run. He had 27 of them real world. That's only his 5th, and he's pretty much right at half his at bats. So it's home run number 5, RBIs 27, 28, and 29. And the White Sox jump to a 3-0 lead. That'll bring up Pudge, Carlton Fisk. Fisk on the replay, hitting 295, 8 homers, 35 driven in. He hit 256 real world. 6-11. That's a fly ball left field X. That is going to be Henderson. He's a 1. We know he's going to get to it. We're just checking E10. That is an 11. Let's see if E10 causes a problem with that. E10, there is no 11. There's 14 through 18 and a 3 and a 4, but that's it. No 11. So Ricky will make the play. But the 3-run home run off the bat of Greg Walker gives the White Sox a 3-0 head start on the Yankees before they even come to the plate. And enjoying that head start is going to be starting pitcher Scott Nielsen, ironically a former Yankee. Nielsen on the season of 87. Scott Nielsen, 3-5 with a 6.24 ERA. In the replay, he's 3-1 with an ERA of 4.76, so doing a little bit better. Only limited sample size. He's only pitched 28 innings, 26 hits, 13 walks, 10 strikeouts. And of course, leading things off for the Yankees will be Mr. Ricky Henderson. Nielsen is a +5 hold. Fisk is a 0, so +5. That means guys like Ricky will be looking to run. Wild pitch 6, balk of 0. So here we go. Ricky will lead things off. 3-6, and that's a walk, and that means Ricky's going to be running. And if he gets the good lead, they're just going to hold the ball. It'd be pointless to throw him out because you need a 20 to get him out, and there's a risk of throwing the ball away. So Ricky's going for the lead, needs a 6 or a 7. Doesn't get it, though, so he'll hold. Could try it without the lead, though. There's no guarantee you have to have the lead. It'd be a 15. 4 for being held would be an 11, but then the 6 +5 there would be a 16. So he's going to try it anyway. 1 to 16, he's in there. And he's in there. Stolen base, Ricky Henderson. He is not letting not getting the lead deter him because Nielsen's such a bad holder of runners. He figures he can abuse him. I'm not going to try to steal third. I just don't like trying to steal third, so I'm not even going to do that in this replay. I haven't done it all year. I'm not going to start now. So, Willie Randolph, your batter. Randolph hitting 262 on the replay, 4 homers, 31 driven in. He hit 305 real world. 6-11, and that is a ballpark blast for Randolph, but he has weak power. He can still get a single on a 1 to 8. Does not, though. It will be a fly to left on away. That'll bring up Donnie Baseball. Donnie Baseball hitting 306 on the replay, 12 homers, 42 driven in. He hit 327 in the actual season. That's a 5-3, and that's a fly ball left field X. We're looking at Reedus. He's a 3-E-8 for Gary Reedus. 3-19 is good. That means it's not deep enough for Ricky to move up. E8, left fielder. He's got to avoid 3, 6, and then 15 through 18, which he does easily. So it's 2 away. 2 down. It's up to Mr. May, Dave Winfield, to get the job done, not leave Ricky stranded. Winfield on the replay is hitting .269, 19 homers, 55 driven in. He hit .275 real world. In the clutch against right-handers, he will gain a hit 111. That's it. So here is Winfield. 6-5, and that's a pop up to third, and the Yankees are going to leave Mr. Henderson on second base. So the heart of the order for the Yankees fails miserably. And that'll take care of the Yankees in the first inning. We go to the top of the second, 3-0 White Sox. And center fielder Ken Williams will lead it off. Ken Williams hitting .221 on the replay. He's the Joe Carter of the White Sox, as he's only hitting .221 on the replay, and he hit .281 real world. 3 homers, 17 driven in on the replay. 11 homers, 50 driven in on the real season. That's a 4-11 for Rasmussen. It's a ground ball first base C. That means Mattingly will get it, and he'll flip to Rasmussen covering for out number 1. That will bring up second baseman Fred Manrique. Manrique hitting .225 on the replay, a homer and 13 driven in. He hit .258 real world. Or was it 268? Oh, no, it was 258. I read it right. Okay. That is a 3-7, and that's going to be a solid single to center field for Manrique. 1-out single for Manrique. Manrique could try to get a lead. He needs a 6 or a 7 to obtain a good lead. Doesn't get it, so he will hold, and that brings up Ozzie Guillen, number 9 hitter. Guillen hitting .287 on the replay, 1 homer, 34 driven in. He at .279 the world. It's a 3-7 lefty-lefty. That's a 1 for a single. Anything else, he lines it to Randolph. And that's a liner to Randolph for out number 2. And back to the top of the order for Jerry Royster. Royster grounded to short his first trip. 5-7, and that is a ground ball second base X. That's Randolph. He's a 2E17. 2-20. He'll get to that easily. E17 at second base. He's got to avoid 6, 15, and 18. 3, 6, 15, and 18. And he does that very well to end the inning. So nothing doing for the White Sox in the second. Can't make my 0 very good there, did I? All right. My penmanship is crap, and I realize it, and I own it. So don't worry about it. All right. Here is Scott Nielsen. You see my signature, how bad that is. All right. So, and I'm not even a pharmacist or a doctor. Nor do I play one on TV. All right, so we'll go to the bottom of the second. And it's going to be Claudell Washington leading off. He's a 283 hitter on the replay. 3 homers, 24 driven in. He at 279 real world. 2-3 for Claudell. It's a ballpark single check. It's only a 1-7. And that's an 11, so he will end up lining it right to the second baseman Manrique for out number 1. That's going to bring up the designated hitter, Gary Ward. Ward on the replay hitting a paltry .216, 8 homers, 30 driven in. He hit .248 real world. That's a 6-11, and that's a ballpark blast. Again, a 1-8. He's got normal power. But again, it's going to miss. Just a deep fly to left, 2 away. For third baseman, Mike Pagliarulo. Pagliarulo hitting .236 on the replay, 21 homers, 47 driven in. He hit .234 real world. 2-7, and he's going to strike him out. First strikeout for Nielsen. 1, 2, 3 go the Yankees here in the bottom of the second. We go to the third, still 3-0 White Sox. And back to The heart of the order for the Sox, Ritas, Baines, and Calderon will be the scheduled hitters. Gary Ritas. 5-6, and that's going to be a walk. That's the second walk issued by Rasmussen, and Ritas is definitely a candidate to run. See if he can get the lead. He needs a 2 through 6. Doesn't get it, and we're not going to run on the secondary, so he will just hold right there. And here's Harold Baines. One 7 for Baines, and that's going to be a single 1-17. Line out 18-20 is 1 star on a single. And that's a base hit, but it's going to be a 1-star single. Runners are at second and third, nobody out. For the big boys, on Calderon. First one up. 3-8 for Calderon, struck him out. And that is the first strikeout for Rasmussen. Comes at a very good time for him. Now he's got to deal with Greg Walker, who took him deep for a 3-run home run his first time up on a ballpark blast. So he's trying to avoid that this time. That is a 6-6, and that's a strikeout. So he certainly gets a little bit of revenge on Walker for that one. Back-to-back strikeouts. And now in a clutch situation, Carlton Fisk, he will gain a hit 112 against the lefties. Everybody else is neutral. 3-2, and that's a split. 1-6 is a single. 7-20, he lines to short. The single is 1 star, so it would load the bases. And it's an 11, so he lines it to Tollison to end the inning. So Rasmussen pitches out of the early trouble in the inning, allowing the first 2 on, but he gets around it and comes out unscathed. Go to the bottom of the third, still 3-0 White Sox. And leading off will be catcher Rick Cerrone. Cerrone on the replay hitting 252, 3 homers, 17 driven in. He hit 243 real world. 311, and that is a strikeout plus injury. So there's a chance Rick Cerrone will have to come out of this game, and Mark Salas will have to come in and catch. Cerrone, a 1-6, he can stay in. 7-20, he's got to come out. He can stay in. So Rick Cerrone, whatever was nagging him, he says he's good to go. Lou Piniella says get back out there. And that'll bring up Wayne Tollison. Tollison, the shortstop, hitting 219 on the replay. 3 homers, 21 driven in. He hit 221 real world. Switch hitter. 6-6, and that's going to be a 1 for a single. Anything else, he will line it to Manrique. And that's a 1. So how about that? He had a 5% chance of a base hit. And lo and behold, he gets that base hit. And actually, there goes the no-hitter. Here in the third inning. That's the first Yankee hit. Tollison, no threat to run. Here's Ricky. 3-6 for Ricky, and he walks once more, but with Tollison in front of him, he can't steal. So he's kind of jammed up on the bases with Tollison in front of him like that. First and second, 1 out for Willie Randolph. Tying run now at the plate for the Yankees. 2-7, and that's a single by Randolph, and that's going to load the bases. They will hold Tollison. With only 1 out, they will hold him at third. So the bases are now loaded, and you got Mattingly and Winfield coming up. And if you can't score now, you're the Yankees and you can't score with this prime setup, then you may as well call it a day. That's all I can say about it. Here's Mattingly. Infield for the White Sox, playing for the double play. Try to get out of the inning. 6-5, and that's a fly ball center field B. That will be a sacrifice fly for Don Mattingly. Scoring is Tollison. And for Mattingly, that's his 43rd run batted in of the replay. And the Yankees are finally on the board at 3-1. Still have an opportunity with 2 outs in a clutch situation for Winfield, where Winfield does gain the extra hit on a 111. That's a 6-8, and that's a single to right field. Ricky Henderson will score without a throw. Because he's a 17. He's not being held as an 18. 2 outs is a 20. -1, there's a 1 to 19. You're not going to do that. They're going to keep Randolph. They want to keep Randolph at second base. Let's see if Randolph can try to go to third. Would he dare try to go to third is the question. I think we'll just leave him at second. So RBI single from Winfield cuts the lead to 3-2. Scoring is Ricky Henderson. Now here's Claudell Washington. Clutch situation for Washington. He in the clutch will gain several hits. 1-6, 3-6, and 3-10. All turned to hits. That's 112. And that's a Lomax plus injuries. Now Claudell Washington is in danger of being injured. It's a Lomax, but there were already 2 outs, so there's no double plays or anything like that. But we do need to check on Claudell. Then we need a new center fielder out there. 1-6, he can stay in the game. He can barely. So Claudell fights off that injury as well. The Yankees are toughing it out in this ball game. But they put 2 on the board and cut the lead to 3-2 as we head to the 4th inning. And Ken Williams, your batter. 3-5 for Williams is a 1-9 single. 10-20, he lines out to Tollison. And that's going to be a base hit for Ken Williams. And he'll be looking to get a lead. He needs a 6, 7, or 8. Doesn't get it, so he will hold. That'll bring up Fred Manrique. Manrique is an A bunter. Should they decide to bunt here? You know what? No, we're not going to bunt. I just don't like bunting. Here's Manrique. Well, first of all, we need to do the thing here. All right, here's Manrique. 6-6, that's a strikeout. Strikeout number 3 for Rasmussen. Takes us to the number 9 hitter, Ozzie Guillen. 6-6, and that's another strikeout for Rasmussen, his 4th. 2 away. And now it's up to Jerry Royster. That is a 4-6, and that's going to be a triple 1-4, double 5-20. That is a 2. It's a triple for Jerry Royster. He had no triples real world. So we're going to knock this down to a double. Double for Jerry Royster. But Williams will score as if it was a triple. I think he would have scored anyways. A 16, not being held as a 17, 2 outs is a 19, and -1 on is an 18. I don't think you throw home on an 18 because then you allow Royster to get the third. So they're going to call that an RBI double for Jerry Royster. And the White Sox get one of those runs back, and they increase the lead to 4-2 for Gary Reedus. Clutch situation for Reedus. And Reedus in the clutch will lose a hit 110. I'm sorry, lose a hit 110. Everything else he is neutral. Whoops, that didn't go through. 2-8, and that's a ground ball to short to end the inning. So the Yankees give one of the runs back that they got in the previous inning, trail it 4-2. But their philosophy is they can score some runs against Scott Nielsen, and they very well may can. We shall see how it plays out. Leading things off will be the DH, Gary Ward. That is a 5-8, and that's ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at Guillen, 2E21 for Guillen. 2-19 is good. E21, he has to avoid 6, 15, and 17, just those 3 numbers. And he does that no problem. So Ward grounds out to Guillen. 1 away for Pagliarulo. That's a 6-5, and that's a fly to center. 2 down. 2 up, 2 down for Rick Cerrone, who fought off an injury to stay in the game. 2-2, and that's going to be a home run. 1-8. Triple 9-20. I believe Rick Cerrone had a triple. He certainly did. He had one triple in the season. This was the spot he could get it on, I guess. 1-8 is a home run. 9-20 is a triple. He has not hit a triple in the replay just yet, but he just did. So that's the first triple for Rick Cerrone. It's his one and only triple that he should be getting in the replay. And he's a little bit more than halfway past his at-bats. So 2-out triple for Cerrone, and that's going to make it a clutch situation for Tollison, which is not a good thing because he loses 3 hits. 2-5, 2-9, and 2-10 all are taken away from him. That's a 4-10, and that's going to be an in-home run chance for a 1, but he has weak power. So single on a 1, anything else he flies to Calderon to end the inning. And Calderon will haul it in. So Yankees get a bad break there that Cerrone didn't get the home run. And as a result, the 2-out triple went to waste. So we go to the top of the 5th. Score still. White Sox ahead 4-2. And this is the fatigue inning for Dennis Rasmussen, number 5. Keep an eye on that. Baines leads off. He's 2 for 2. That's a 5-3. Fly ball right field X looking at Winfield. He's a 1. We know he's going to get to it. E3, the only errors are 3-15 and 18. That's what he has to avoid. 3-15 and 18, and with the 10, he certainly avoided it. So Baines is out of there for Ivan Calderon. Calderon has walked and struck out. That's a 2-8, and he's going to strike out once more, and that's number 5 for Rasmussen. That brings up Greg Walker. He has been feast or famine. He homered in the first, 3-run shot, struck out in the third. 1-5, and that's a fly to center. Boy, he's got a whole host of home runs here on a 1-2, 1-3, and a 1-4, but a 1-5 is a fly to center field. And Rasmussen will keep full endurance into the 6th inning as he goes 1-2-3. So bottom of the 5th we go. This will also be the fatigue inning for Scott Nielsen. He's got the 5 right there. And he's going to be facing the top of the order, Ricky Henderson, to lead things off. Henderson has walked twice, scored a run, stole a base. 2-7, and this time it's a 1-6 single. And 7-20 lines to Guillen. And that's a base hit for Ricky. He's going to look to run again. Needs that 6-4-7 to get the good lead, which he gets, and they won't even throw. That's going to be an automatic steal for Ricky. They're not going to risk a bad throw when the only out chance is a 20. So the odds just tell you to eat the ball here. Veteran Fisk says, I'm just going to eat this ball. All right, here is Randolph. 4-11, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at Guillen, 2E21, 2-12, probably a G2 of some sort. 2-12, actually it's a G1 on a 2-12. And the error rating is on the E21 is 6-15 and 17. And that's no problem. So we look at G1 just to make sure runner can't go to third. It says it's at a side, so we could try to send Ricky. It's a running speed -4 plus the fielder's defense. So Ricky runs at a 17, -4 is a 13. Guillen +2 is a 15. 1-15, they're going to send him. And the White Sox with a 2-run lead, they're just going to take the automatic out here. So they will allow Henderson to get to third base. They're not going to risk trying to throw him out and then get first and third with nobody out and lead to a big inning. They're going to try to minimize the damage here. So Randolph will ground out to Guillen, but going to third base will be Ricky Henderson. So with 1 out and Ricky at third, here is Don Mattingly. That's a 1. Possible wild pitch on Nielsen. He's a 6. And that's a wild pitch, and that will score Ricky Henderson on the wild pitch. So Nielsen uncorks 1. It's now a 4-3 game. Bases are cleared now for Don Mattingly. 1 out. 4-9, and that's going to be a triple. 1-14. 15-20 would be a double. And that's a triple, assuming Matt, and he had 2 triples. So we'll allow it, even though that's his 4th triple of the replay. I'll probably have to cut him off on triples here shortly. We don't have triples alley around here. But it isn't a triple for Don Mattingly. And that'll bring the infield in for Dave Winfield, rather. Infield is in. 4-8, and that's a ballpark blast. So at worst case, it's going to be a sacrifice fly, but a 1-8, it's a 2-run home run. That's a 10, so it will be a sacrifice fly, and that will tie this game at 4 apiece as Winfield gets his 2nd run batted in, courtesy of a sacrifice fly, and we're tied at 4. 2 out spaces cleared for Claudell Washington. 2-8 for Washington. That's a base hit, and I believe Nielsen has just reached fatigue. See if the computer verifies that. Yes, it does. So Nielsen is fatigued. I'd like to get him through the inning, though, if possible. Claudell will be looking to see if he can get a good lead. Needs a 6 to get a good lead. Doesn't get it, so he'll hold for Gary Ward. 4-6, and that's a single 2 stars. That's going to put runners at the corners. And now you wonder if the White Sox want to keep going with Nielsen or not, as he has seemingly lost it here. You don't want to lose the lead if you can avoid it. Left-hander Pagliarulo is coming up. Do they choose to go to a lefty out of the bullpen? They do have Ryan Clark, their only lefty, in the bullpen. Searage is not on the roster right now, so it would be Ryan Clark, or Brian Clark, I should say. Man, do you take Nielsen out or do you let him keep going is the question. They're going to let Nielsen pitch one more. They're going to let him see if he can get out of this mess. Pagliarulo in the clutch against righties will gain a hit on a 1-6. 6-10, and that's a catcher X. So we're looking at Fisk, a 3-E4 for Fisk. 3 and a 6 as a catcher. This could be a potential pass ball or something. 3 or 6 could be a potential pass ball. His error rating is a 4. Only errors there 16, 17, and 18. Whoops, 16, 17, and 18, and that's not happening. So now we're looking at the wild pitch rating of Nielsen, which is a 6. So 1-6, we have a pass ball. 7 or higher is just a pop out to end the inning. And that's a 3, so it'll be a pass ball on Fisk, and that will give the Yankees the lead. Can't really blame that one on Nielsen, though. That was a pass ball on Fisk. That's an unearned run. Gives the Yankees the lead 5-4. Moving Ward to second base for Mike Pagliarulo. 4-7, and that's a ground ball second base X. We're looking at Manrique. 3E13. 3 and 14 is good. And E13, he's got to avoid 14, 3, and 18. 3, 14, and 18. Barely does with a 13, but that's all he needed. Yankees put 3 on the board and take a 5-4 lead. That's going to be it for Nielsen. He's going to go 5 innings, and he will exit. He's going to go 5 innings, Will Nielsen. And we'll get the numbers on him. See what he did. He gave up 8 hits, 5 runs, 4 of which were earned. That last one was unearned due to the pass ball. He struck out 2, and he walked Ricky Henderson twice. I think those were his only 2 walks. So walked 2, struck out 2. So it's a 5-4 game. That makes Rasmussen now potentially could be a winning pitcher if the Yankees hold the lead. He has full endurance into the 6th inning. And he'll be facing Pudge Fisk. 2-7, and that's a strikeout. So Rasmussen with strikeout number 6. 1 away. That'll bring up Ken Williams. That's a 6-9, and that's a fly to center field. 2 down. 2 up, 2 down for Fred Manrique. That's a 3-5 for Manrique, and that's a 1-14 home run. You don't think of him as a home run hitter. He only had 4 all year. He's had 1 so far in the replay. But a 3-5 is a 1-14 home run. 15-20 is a triple. And that's a home run for Manrique, and we're all tied up at 5 apiece. So they get Nielsen off the hook. In fact, Nielsen could be the winner if the White Sox score again this inning and take the lead. That's the second home run on the replay for Manrique. He had 4 real world, so a little bit less than half of his at-bats, and he's got half his home runs. So that's a pretty reasonable home run ratio. But we are tied at 5 apiece. And that'll take us to Ozzie Guillen. 6-2. It's ground ball first base C. Mattingly will get it. Flip to Rasmussen covering. But now we are tied at 5 apiece, and that's going to be it for Rasmussen. I'm going to cap him at 6 innings. And he could win it, or he could get a no decision. Nielsen has a no decision. For Rasmussen, he's going to go 6 innings, give up 7 hits, 5 runs, all of which were earned. He ends up walking 2 and striking out 6. So we need a new pitcher for the White Sox. And with the righties coming up, it will not be Brian Clark, the lefty. They will go to a right-hander out of the bullpen. And they will go to, well, let's see who the most rested is. That might determine who they go to. Don't want to overwork anybody. And want to make sure the other guys get work. So let's just take a look here. Yeah, Jimmy Wynn needs the work. So we're going to bring in Jim Wynn from the bullpen. Right-hander Jim Wynn. We look at Wynn's numbers. 4-6 on the real season with a 479 earned run average. Now don't tell me we're stuck again. Okay. All right, 4-6 with a 479 ERA. And he had 6 saves real world. On the replay, 2-5 with a 7.80 ERA. And he ended up, or he has 1 save. 45 innings pitched, 53 hits, 42 walks, 25 strikeouts. That's his demise. 42 walks and 45 innings of pitching is not going to get it done. So that's where he's fallen into trouble, was with these walks. So Jimmy Wynn is on, and he's a +1, which makes him a +1. And he's going to face Pagliarulo to start things off. I'm sorry, not Pagliarulo. He made the last out. It's actually Rick Cerrone. I didn't move the cards like I should have. So Rick Cerrone, who had that weird triple last time up, 2-8, and he's going to fly it to center field. Ken Williams puts it away, 1 down. And that'll bring up Wayne Tollison, 1 for 2 for Tollison. That's a 6-9, and that's going to be a walk. And again, Jimmy Wynn with those walks. 43 walks now and 45 innings of pitching is not going to do it for you. Here is Ricky Henderson. He's reached base all 3 times, 2 walks and a single. 3-10 for Ricky, and that's a ground ball shortstop A. That's a Giovanni's Taylor shot. Taylor-made double play. You don't think of Ricky hitting in too many double plays, but he just did it right here. You can see the 3-10. And against right-handers on Ricky Henderson's card, a 3-10 is a ground ball shortstop A. He just missed the ballpark blast by 1. But that is a 6-4-3 Giovanni's Taylor shot. Taylor-made double play of the game that ends the inning. Giovanni's Taylor Shop in Lemoyne, Pennsylvania. If you are in that area and have tailoring needs, be sure to stop by and see them. Tell them Demo sent you. They'll give you a discount. They're the unofficial sponsor of the channel, but the official sponsor of the Giovanni's Taylor Shop, tailor-made double play of the game. And now the Yankees will need a new pitcher. as Rasmussen has been capped at his 6 innings as he was struggling a bit. Probably a good time to get him out of there and get a fresh arm in the game. It'll be Royster, Reedus, and Baines. So I think we're still looking at we're going to be looking at a right-hander for the Yankees most likely. So we'll see who they have available. They do have Charles Hudson he could bring in. You do have Tim Stoddard from the right side. You've got Clements and Righetti from the left side. So you got your choice. They also have a lefty that was added to the roster. Let's see if I've got a card for him. Pete Filson. I'm going to go to the minor leagues real quick and see if I can find a card for him. I just noticed on the Strat computer they added him to the roster. Was not aware of that. Let me see if I have a computerized card of Pete Filson, a left-hander. I might and I might not. It's hard to tell. I do. So Pete Filson is going to give the Yankees a third left-hander in their bullpen. So he was added to the roster, Pete Filson. He won't be coming in right now, though, because they want to go to a right-hander, but he is available. So they got 3 lefties and 2 righties. And right now, they're going with Charles Hudson. They could use some length, probably go a couple of innings. So it's a tie game. There's no save situation or anything. It's almost like a new game. So they're going with Charles Hudson. Was in the starting rotation. He's now in the bullpen. And we'll get the numbers on Hudson. He was 11-7 with a 3.61 ERA real world. On the replay, Hudson is 6-3 with a 3.40 ERA. 77 innings pitched, 57 hits, 30 walks, and 58 strikeouts. So Hudson, your new pitcher, and he is a -2 hole, which makes him a -3. All right, so top of the order, and Jerry Royster steps up to the plate. He doubled his last time up. 6'4", and that is a catcher X for Hudson, which is Cerrone, a 3-0. We can't make an error. 3-14 should be a pop-up of some sort. 3-14 is a pop-up, exactly. So it's a pop-up to Cerrone for 1 away. 1 out on the pop-up to Cerrone. It's a good start for Hudson. And that'll bring up Reedus. 2-8 for Reedus. Ground ball to short. Tollison is there. 2 down. For Mr. Harold Baines, who's 2 for 3 in the game. 5-4 lefty, and that's an in-home run chance, 1-8. It's got normal power, 1-8, and the White Sox will take the lead, 9-20. It's going to be a triple, and that'll be a home run for Harold Baines, making his Hall of Fame claim. Home run, Harold Baines. That's his 8th of the replay. He had 20 real world. RBI number 40 on the replay as well. Home run number 8, RBI number 40. And the White Sox grab a 6-5 lead. 2-out home run from Harold Baines. Calderon, 3-5. He's going to walk. First walk issued by Hudson. Calderon, not really going to look to steal. Not with Greg Walker coming up. 2-10 for Walker, and that's a single to left field, first and second. So Hudson, after getting the first 2 out, now running into problems, got to deal with Carlton Fisk in a clutch situation. Fisk against right-handers in the clutch will gain a hit, 112. That's a 6-8, and that's a strikeout for Hudson to end the inning. But the home run off the bat of Harold Baines gives the White Sox a 6-5 lead as we head to the 7th inning stretch here at Yankee Stadium. And Jim Wynn will come out for inning number 2, facing Randolph, Mattingly, and Winfield. 2-10, and that's going to be a fly to left field. Gary Reedus putting that one away. Now it's Yankees have to rely on their big boys, Mattingly and Winfield, to get it done. Manley did triple his last time up. 4-8, and that's going to be a 1-14 single. 15-20, he will line it to Manrique, and that's a base hit for Winfield for Mattingly. Tying run is on base with one out for Mr. Winfield. He's got to avoid hitting to that Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play if he can. 3-4. He lines it hard, but right to Manrique for out number 2. So now the buck has been passed to Claudell Washington to try to get it done. He did single his last time up. That's a 2-6, and he's going to ground it to second to end the inning. So Jimmy Wynn, 2 shutout innings so far, doing quite well for himself. He's got a fatigue rating of 3, so he will come back and pitch the 8th as well. So we go to the 8th inning, score 6-5 White Sox. Of course, Yankees won the game real world 9-5, so we'll see if the Yankees can put 3 runs on the board and make it a 9-5 game off the get-go. But that's not very likely to happen. They could win it, but I don't think it's going to be 9-5. That would be really weird if that happened. Here's Ken Williams. 5-8, and that is a strikeout for Charles Hudson, his second. And that brings up Manrique. Had that rare home run his last time up. 3-7, and this time he's going to strike out. So Hudson starting to get in the groove with these strikeouts. 2 quick outs, and that brings up Ozzie Guillen. 0 for 3 for Mr. Guillen. 3-10, and that's a fly to center. 1-2-3 inning for Hudson, so unless anything changes, he'll come back for the 9th. If the Yankees take the lead, they'll bring Righetti in for the 9th, but if they don't, they'll let Hudson keep going. And Jimmy Wynn going to stick with it. He's going to face Ward, Pagliarulo, and Cerrone here in the bottom of the 8th. 4-6, and that's a walk. That's something you don't want to do, is walk guys, and that's been his bugaboo, obviously. So Ward is at first for Mike Pagliarulo. 5-9, and that's a ground ball second base C. That'll get the runner to second base. So 1 away for Rick Cerrone, and the question is, do you pinch hit for Cerrone? He's a 243 hitter. Let's look at the bench for the Yankees. They don't have a whole lot there. They do have Mike Easler. They could bring him in, and they could bring in Salas to catch. But they might want to pinch it for Tolleson instead. I don't know. So we're going to stick with Cerrone, see what he can do. Runner at second, 1 out. That is a 2-11 for Cerrone, and that's a ballpark single check, 1-7. And that's a 10, so he will line it to short, out number 2, and we will get a pinch hitter for Tolleson. Pinch hitter will come in. Paul Zuvella will take over at short, but they're going to have Mike Easler pinch hit as they need offense. It's going to hurt them defensively. They know that, but they need offense. So Zuvella will come in and play shortstop. In the meantime, Easler here in the bottom of the 8th will pinch hit. And Zuvella will be the shortstop in the 9th. All right, so Mike Easler. Let's bring in Mike Easler on the computer. We'll try to see if he can do something for the Yankees. Mike Easler. His numbers. There's also Jeff Moronco, the great Jeff Moronco, that could come and play shortstop, but I think we trust Zuvella a little bit more than Moronco. So Easler hitting 286 on the replay, 2 homers, 6 driven inning at 281 real world. It is a clutch situation with Ward at second base, and in the clutch, he does lose a couple of hits, 1-3 and 1-6. That's a 4-9, however, which is a fly to center, and that's going to end the inning. So Jimmy Wynn goes 3 innings. He could go a fourth, I guess. They'd like to go to Bob James, their closer. But I think he had a bad outing last time, but doesn't mean he won't have a good outing this time. So they're going to cap Jimmy Wynn at 3 innings. And he's going to give up 1 hit. He did walk 2. Didn't strike anybody out. And now we go to the 9th. And on the computer, I need to bring in Paul Zuvella to play shortstop. So we'll bring in Mr. Zuvella to play the shortstop position. And Hudson will stay in to pitch the 9th inning. Top of the 9th we go. 6-5 White Sox. And Bob James is loosening the bullpen for the White Sox to try to close the deal in the 9th. But right now they're going to look to try to add something to the total. Royster against Hudson. 6-11, and that is a ballpark single check. And that is a 1-7. And that is a 9. So that'll be a line out to short. 1 away. Here in the top of the 9th. One down for Gary Reedus. 2-7 for Reedus, and that's a strikeout. 2 away. And that brings up Harold Baines, who homered to provide the difference in the ball game so far. So hate to say it, but he would be the MVP of the game. He's 3 for 4 with the go-ahead home run. So kind of hard to argue that. 2-11, and that is a pop out to Pagliarulo to end the inning. So Charles Hudson's going to go 3 innings. And he's going to give up the 1 run, that home run. That was the biggie. Just 2 hits. He did walk a batter and he struck out 4. So overall, not a totally bad outing at all. And now Bob James is going to come in and try to close the door for the White Sox. We'll bring him in on the computer. Jimmy Wynn pitched well, but I just don't think you trust him to try to close the game. So they will go to Bob James out of the bullpen. Numbers on Bob James. 4-6, 4.67 ERA and 10 saves real world. On the replay, he is 1-3 with a 6.04 ERA and 11 saves. 28 innings pitched, 36 hits, 9 walks, and 19 strikeouts. And he's going to face the top of the order, Ricky Henderson, Randolph, and Mattingly. James is a +2 hold, so that's not going to help keep Ricky from running. They need to keep Ricky off the bases. That's the only way to keep him from running is to get him out. So James to Henderson, bottom of the 9th, 6-5 White Sox. So 4-5, and that's a fly to center field. That's one way to keep Ricky off the bases. 1 away. That'll bring up Willie Randolph. That's a 3-4 for Randolph, and that's a ballpark single check, 1-7. And that's a 13, so he pops it up to Greg Walker. 2 down, it's up to Mattingly. Last chance for the Yankees. Don Mattingly. Mattingly is 2 for 3, triple, single, sacrifice fly, and a fly to left against Bob James. Trying to record his 12th save of the replay. 1-7 for Mattingly. It's a 1-17 double. 18-20 will be a single, so that is going to be a double for Mattingly. He's a home run away from the cycle, but that's his last at bat, barring extra innings. So there's no chance of a cycle there. But now the tying run is at second base with 2 outs for Dave Winfield. Clutch situation for Winfield. And in the clutch, he does lose that hit, 111. Could run for Mattingly, but I'm not sure it's really worth it. So Cotto does run it to 15, but that's only 2 numbers better than 3 numbers better than Mattingly. So I think you're going to stick with Mattingly on the basis. James to Winfield. 210 for Winfield. That's a home run, 1-14. He could walk this thing off. 210 is a 1-14 home run that would walk the game off with a home run. A double 15-20 would merely tie the score, most likely. Well, it would tie the score with the runner at second. So 15-20 ties the score, 1-14, and they walk it off. And that's a 16. It's going to be a double for Winfield. It will tie the score. Blown save for Bob James. And now the Yankees have a chance to end it right here with Claudell Washington. They will intentionally walk Claudell because his run doesn't mean anything. They will pitch to Gary Ward instead. So Gary Ward, clutch situation for Ward. In the clutch for Ward, he gains a hit, 210. That is a 3-5, and that is a ground ball to third. We've got extra innings here at Yankee Stadium. So Bob James blows the save. And we get free baseball, as they call it, from Yankee Stadium. And with that, the Yankees will need a new pitcher. Coming up is Calderon, Walker, and Fisk. Yankees will go to, most likely, Righetti, unless he's tired. Let's see if he's tired or not. And I guess they could stick, well, I think 3 innings is enough for Hudson. I don't trust him past 3 innings, that's for sure. No, Righetti's got rest, it looks like. Make sure he's got good rest here. I think he does. Oh yeah, he needs the work actually. So Righetti's going to come on. He can go 2 innings if need be. Dave Righetti come in here and pitch the bottom of the 9th. He has a -5 hold. He will pitch the top of the 10th, rather, I should say. So let's get a look at Righetti on the replay and on the real season. Dave Righetti, real season for Mr. Rags, 8-6 with a 3.51 ERA. And of course, 31 saves, real world. On the replay, 3-3 with 19 saves and a 3.66 ERA. 47 innings pitched, 45 hits, 16 walks, 32 strikeouts. So Dave Righetti will be facing Calderon, Walker, and Fisk, the scheduled hitters for the White Sox. Ivan Calderon. 3-6 for Calderon is a leadoff walk. Not what you want if you are Righetti. Calderon, no threat to run, though, not with that -5 hold. Here's Walker. 210 for Walker, and that's a ballpark blast. He hit a 3-run homer in the first. Could he hit a 2-run homer in the 10th? It is a ballpark blast. 1-7 would be a 2-run. I'm sorry, 1-9 would be a 2-run home run. But it's a 10. He just misses it. So Winfield at the track makes the catch, and Righetti breathes a sigh of relief. 1 down for Carlton Fisk. It's a 1-8 for Fisk, and he hits a ground ball to short. It's another Giovanni's Taylor shot, tailor-made double play to end the inning. So we go to the bottom of the 10th. Bob James going to come back out, and he'll be facing Pagliarulo, Cerrone, and Zuvella. So here's Pags against Mr. Bob James. That is a 5-4, and that's a line out to third. 1 away for Rick Cerrone. 5-7, and that's a 1-2 single. Anything else he lines to Guillen. And he's going to line it to Guillen. So 2 up and 2 down go the Yankees. And Paul Zuvella, the batter, for his first at bat. Suvella hitting 308 on the replay and 13 at bats. He had 34 at bats. Real world hit 176. So take that 308 with a grain of salt. That's a 610, and that is a catcher X Fisk 3. 3 and an 8, but nobody's on base, so you're not worried about any pass balls or anything. It's going to be a pop out unless you make an error. Only errors are 16, 17, and 18, and there's no error, so we will go to the 11th inning. Score still tied 6-6. Getty back out for his second inning of work, and that's it for Bob James. He went 2 innings. That's the most they're going to go with him. So we'll cap James at 2 innings. He's going to give up the run below the save. He struck out nobody, walked one, and that was intentional. Gave up the back-to-back doubles. That's what did him in. All right, so Righetti back out for the top of the 11th. He'll be facing Williams, Manrique, and Guillen, scheduled hitters here in the 11th inning. Here's Ken Williams. That's a 3-8 for Williams, and that's a strikeout. First strikeout for Righetti. Brings up Manrique. 6-10 for Manrique against Righetti as a catcher X. Cerrone's a 3, and that's a 6. It's E0. It can't make an error. 3 and a 6 is going to be a pop out. Nobody on base. There's no pass ball possibility. 2 up, 2 down for Mr. Guillen. Ozzie Guillen. 1-2, and that's a Lomax plus injury. So Guillen, chance that he has to come out of this game. 1-6, he can stay in the game. I just put something in incorrectly in the computer, so I need to back up on this. Undo that last play. All right, so Williams struck out. And Manrique pops up to Cerrone. And Guillen lines to second. And now we got to see if Guillen can stay in the game. 1-6, he can stay in the game. And he can. Boy, they're fighting off these injuries in this game. That's it for Getty. He goes 2 innings. Don't want to run him. Don't want to put him out there much more than that. So Righetti goes 2 innings and he gives up basically nothing. No walk and strikeout, nothing else. And we go to the bottom of the 11th. White Sox will need a new pitcher. And let's see who they want to go to. Coming up for the Yankees is the top of the order. They really, not sure who they want to go to at this point. They're going to go to Brian Clark, the lefty. So Brian Clark is your batter, or your pitcher, I should say, in the 11th inning. See the numbers on Clark, 0-0, 2.41 ERA in 19 innings of pitching. We'll see what he's done on the replay as we bring him in on the computer. Clark. He is 0-0 with a 1.50 ERA, 12 innings pitched, 9 hits, 4 walks, 10 strikeouts. And he is a -3 on his hold, so that might help control the run game a little bit. But it's going to be Ricky Henderson time. 1-4, and that is a single 1-2, 3-20 lines to Guillen. And that's a liner to Guillen, 1 away for Willie Randolph. 2-7 for Randolph. That's a base hit. So Randolph with a 1-out single. He is the winning run, obviously. And now here's Mattingly, rather. And he could get the lead on a 3. So they're going to see if he can get a lead with a 3. No, we got a 7. He cannot get the lead. So here's Mattingly. He's got his chance for his cycle. He has tripled, singled, and doubled. If he gets a walk-off home run, we not only have a walk-off home run, we have a cycle on our hands. So let's see if, I don't think Mattingly can do it, but we'll never know. Against the lefty, he's still got some power, obviously. That's a 2-8, and that's good. Well, it's a ballpark glass, so we got a chance. So you're saying there's a chance. That was a 2-8. Ballpark blast right here. Ballpark blast. 1-9 for Mattingly. This would walk it off and also produce the second cycle of the replay. A lot of pressure on this roll. 1-9 to do it. And of course, he did not do it. He flew to right field. You knew that was going to happen. Just wasn't in, pardon the pun, it just wasn't in the cards for that to happen. So it's up to Winfield now. Would have been neat if it happened, just didn't. 5-12, and that's a ground ball first base X. We're looking at Walker. He's a 3. 3 and 15 is good. E10. Ooh, 17. That could be a problem. E10. Nope, 18 is a problem, but not 17. So Walker will get to it and flip to Clark covering to end the inning. So the Yankees almost do it, but just can't quite pull it off. And we will go to the 12th inning. And the Yankees will bring in a new pitcher. And they will go to, I believe, Tim Stoddard. Actually, he's kind of overworked a little bit. They will go to Pat Clements instead. So Pat Clements, the lefty, will come on for the Yankees. They can pitch Stoddard later on, but they'd really rather rest him today if they possibly can. But if they need him, they'll do it. So Pat Clements coming in to pitch the 12th inning. He is a -3 hold, which makes him a -4 on his hold. And Clements will be facing here in the top of the 12th. He will be facing the top of the order, Royster, Reedus, and Baines for the White Sox. Let's bring this over just a touch. All right, so Clements on the real season was 3-3 with a 495 earned run average. And he also accumulated 7 saves. On the replay, he is 1-3 with 3 saves, 4.63 ERA, 45 innings pitched, 52 hits, 18 walks, 20 strikeouts. Whoop, that went over the edge. Let's redo that. 6-9, and that's going to be a single and a 1. Anything else, he lines it to short, and that'll be grabbed by Zavella. And Zavella will snag it, 1 away. Brings up Gary Reedus, 5-7, and that is a walk. And Reedus might be looking to run. Try to get in scoring position. Needs a 2 through 6 to get a good lead. Doesn't get it, he'll hold. And here is Mr. Harold Baines, Mr. 3 for 4, also with a home run. See what he can do here. That's a leaner, so I'm going to re-roll that. 5-9, and that is a ground ball to second with the runner advancing. So Reedus will go to second base with 2 outs, where it'll be all up to Yvonne Calderon. Could walk Calderon and pitch to Walker, lefty-lefty. I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to walk Calderon intentionally and go for the lefty-lefty matchup against Greg Walker. So it'll be lefty-lefty matchup in the clutch. Walker in the clutch will gain 2 hits, 1-5 and 1-12. It's a 5-5, and that's a fly to center, so the intentional walk pays off. And we go to the bottom of the 12th. I will need to take a break after this inning. If it goes to the 13th, I'm going to need to take a break. I didn't take a 7th inning stretch break, and I kind of need one. So Brian Clark back out to pitch, and he'll be facing Washington, Ward, and Pagliarulo for the Yankees. Bottom of the 12th, 6-6. Your score, blame Bob James. He blew the save. This game could have been over several innings ago. 5-8, and that's a ground ball second base X. Manrique, 3E13. 3-17 is good. E13 and a 12 should be okay, I would think. Yep, 14 is the error, not 12. So Manrique makes the play. One away for Gary Ward. 4-5, and that's an in-home run chance. 1-2 could walk it off with a 1 or a 2. Anything else would be a double. That's going to be a double for Gary Ward. Now the winning runs at second base for Mike Pagliarulo. First base is open, but you got a lefty-lefty matchup, so I think they're going to rather exploit that. 1-9, and that's a fly to right, 2 down, and it's Rick Cerrone time. First base is open. They will intentionally walk Cerrone, and they're going to make Paul Zuvella beat him. Paul Zuvella will have to get it done. So let's see, they're going to get a fly to right from Pags. And then they will intentionally walk Cerrone to face Zuvella. But they won't face Zuvella. They will face Henry Cotto. And that means Moronco will come in and play short if it goes to the 13th inning. But Henry Cotto will pinch hit for Zuvella here in the 12th inning. Henry Cotto. And we'll get the numbers on Cotto. Like I said, I will need a replay. We'll need a break after this inning if it goes past this inning, so that I can reheat my coffee and get a little stretch break in. Cotto on the replay hitting 232, 3 homers, 11 driven in at 235 real world. So Clark facing Cotto in a clutch situation. Cotto in the clutch will gain a hit 110. That's a 5-9, and it's a ground ball to second, and that will do it. We are going to the 13th inning. And let's see, I think that's going to be it for Clark. 2 innings is going to probably do him about as well as he can do. So he goes 2 innings. He's going to give up 2 hits, no runs, the walk that was intentional, and no strikeouts. So the White Sox will need a new pitcher in the 13th inning. The Yankees will stick with Clements, and we'll just put a 13 here because I'm running. Well, I'll do it over here. 13th inning, but I'm going to run out of room here. I have to back this up a little bit, I think, because I'm going to run out of peripherals. First of all, though, we're going to ground out to second, and then I got to put Moronco in the game at shortstop. So let's bring Moronco in. That leaves Jeff Salas, the backup catcher, as the only player left on the bench for the Yankees. So Moronco is a 4.88, just like Zuvella was. They were both bad. So it's going to be Fisk, Williams, and Manrique in the bottom of the 13th. Let's see how we're looking on the thing here. Yeah, we're definitely going to have to back this up just a touch to make sure everything fits. But I am going to take a short break here because I've gone 13 innings and my coffee is definitely cold. So hopefully you guys are enjoying this extra inning affair, but hasn't been decided yet because neither team wants to win the game apparently. But I'll be right back in about a minute or so. Don't really have a 7th inning stretch break to play per se. I guess I could, but it really wouldn't make any sense, I don't guess. But anyway, I just got to take a quick break, so I'll be right back. All right, I feel a lot better now. We're ready for the top of the next inning with Pat Clements facing Carlton Fisk, top of the 13th inning. And I'm going to use this. It's a real skinny little thing here, but actually what I'm going to do is use this, use right here as the 13th. I think it'll be better actually, and more room. So, and more importantly, coffee is refreshed. So Clements facing Fisk. 6'10", and that's going to be a ground ball third base X. That is Pagliarulo. 2E20 for Pags. 213 is good. E20, third base. He's got to avoid 11, 14, and 15, which he does. So Pags makes the play. One away. Good thing I'm putting this in the computer as I play it, because coming back to look at the score sheet later would probably be a little confusing to try to enter the game later. So good thing I'm doing it now. Here's Ken Williams. That's a 4-5, and that's going to be a split. One's a single, anything else lines to the new shortstop, Moronco. So that is out number 2. 2 down for Fred Manrique. Manrique with a chance. Keep the inning going. He did hit a rare home run back in the 6th. 4-4, and that's a fly ball center field X. We're looking at Claudel. He's a 3. 3 and an 8. I think that'll be okay. Let's double check it. 3 and an 8. Yep, F1, that's good enough. Nobody's on base. Air reigns an E5. He's got to avoid 4, 16, 17, and 18, which he does. So good play there. 1, 2, 3 inning for Clements. We go to the bottom of the 13th. Chance for the Yankees to walk it off. And it will be Ricky Henderson and company leading things off. And the White Sox will go to right-hander Ralph Citarella. So Citarella will be coming on to pitch. They're almost out of pitchers. They got Citarella and they have Joel McKeon. That's the only two, a lefty McKeon and a righty Citarella. So they're going with the righty Citarella. And he's had a magical replay at Citarella. In the real season, he had a 7.36 ERA and 11 innings pitched. In the replay, he's already pitched 12 innings. He's 0-0 with a save and an ERA of 0. 12 innings pitched, 4 hits, 3 walks, 12 strikeouts. So he has been somewhat immaculate in the replay. See what he can do here against Mr. Ricky Henderson to lead things off here in the bottom of the 13th. 5-8, and that's going to be a ground ball second base X. That's Manrique. 3E13, 3 and a 15 is good. E13, ooh, 16 might be trouble. E13, second baseman, and a 16. And no error. That's a 14, 3, and 18, but not a 16. So Manrique will make the play. And here is Willie Randolph. 6-6, and that's a double 1 to 16. Fly out 17 to 20. That's a double for Randolph. And they will walk Mattingly intentionally without even thinking about it, because his run doesn't mean anything. So we got runners at first and second, 1 out, and Mr. Winfield has a chance to be the hero. He did double in the tying run in the bottom of the ninth. That got us here to extra innings, but they still feel better about pitching to Winfield versus Mattingly. It's 1 out, runners at first and second. That's a 3-9 for Winfield, struck him out. So 2 away. And now we go to Claudel Washington. Clutch situation for Claudel. In the clutch for Claudel, he gains a couple of hits. 1-6, 3-6, and 3-10. So keep an eye on that. That's a 2-5, and he's going to ground it to third, and we're going to the 14th inning. So we're going to inning number 14. Now I'm going to have to use the little skinny section there. Don't have much choice. Clements has gone 2 innings, but they're going to let him keep going, as he will be facing a lefty in Ozzie Guillen. So top of the 14th we go. Ozzie Guillen, the batter, number 9 hitter. He is actually 0 for 5 on the game. 5-7 is a strikeout for Clements. That is actually his first strikeout. And that'll bring up Jerry Royster, top of the order. Somebody's got to win this game, right? 1-8, and that is a ground ball to short. And I realized by intentionally walking Mattingly, I just took away another chance for a cycle, but some things are more important than that. And I got to play it by the game situation. I can't play it by wanting someone to get a certain result. All right, here's Reedus. 1-9, and that is a walk. So a 2-out walk to Reedus, and he's going to be looking to get a lead again. See if he can capture a good lead. To do so, he will need a 2 through 6. And he gets the 6. So he's going to go 19 being held as a 17, -4 is a 13. And he's in there. It's a possible throwing error on Cerrone. His T rating is only a 2, though. So no throwing error, but it will be a stolen base for Mr. Reedus. And now he is the go-ahead run in scoring position for Harold Baines. Lefty, lefty. They're not going to walk Harold Baines. They're going to pitch to Baines. 5-5, and he gets him to fly to center to end the inning. That's going to be it for Clements. He's going to go 3 innings. So 3 innings in the books for Pat Clements. And he's going to not give up anything, really. He's got 3 walks, but one of them was intentional. No hits and a strikeout, no runs. So we go to the bottom of the 14th, and it's going to be Citarella back out, and he'll be facing Ward, Pagliarulo, and Cerrone, scheduled hitters. Ward, Pagliarulo, and Cerrone. I think I'm going to move these over here just to be a little bit simpler and not run out of room. So Ward hitting right here in this spot. It's a 3-5, and he's going to ground it to third. 1 away. And that's going to bring up Pagliarulo. 5-10, and that's a ground ball third base X. We're looking at third baseman Royster, a 4E20. 4 and a 12 should be okay. 4 and a 12 is a G3. E20, he's got to avoid 11, 14, and 15, which he does, so it's a good play there. 2 ground balls to third and 2 quick outs. And that's going to bring up Rick Cerrone. 6-4, and that's a ground ball to third again. So 3 straight ground outs to Royster will take us to the 15th inning. Yankees will need a new pitcher, and they may very well have to go to, well, they can go to Filson, their new guy. I guess that's who they'll go to. Pete Filson, newest man on the roster. Obviously the freshest arm. So Pete Filson is on. He is a -4 as well. He can go 3 innings, so he can give him some length for sure. Oh, let's put it over here. Pete Filson will face Calderon to start the inning. Top of the 15th inning. And we'll bring in Filson on the computer. See what he has done. If anything, I don't think he's pitched yet. I think this is his, yeah, it's definitely his first outing of the season. No question about that. Filson, in the real season, he had 2 starts, but he had relief appearances as well. 22 innings pitched, 26 hits, 9 walks, 10 strikeouts. He was 0-1 with a 3.27 ERA. And he faces Calderon. That is a 3-5. That's a 1-4 single. And that will be a 3. So a base hit for Calderon to start the top of the 15th. Calderon not going to try to go anywhere. Here's Greg Walker. That's a 3-3 for Walker, and that is a split. 1-7 is a single, 8-20 is a line out, and that's a line out to Randolph. 1 down. For Carlton Fisk. 6-10, and that is a ground ball shortstop X. That's Moronco, unfortunately. It's a 4E88. 4E88. 4 and a 14. Will he get to this? 4 and a 14. He will. It's a G2, but the E88 is the question. Not as bad as you think, though. 9, 11, 12, 14, and 16 are the numbers. And that is a 10. So he actually makes the play. It's a G2. It's a 6-4 fielder's choice. Fisk, the new runner at first base. So Moronco doesn't totally wipe that out. Does actually record it out there. And here's going to be Mr. Ken Williams. I think it is, Tim. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it is. I don't remember going this long. 5-9, and that is a ground ball to third. So we're going to the bottom of the 15th. If it goes 16 innings, I know it's the longest. I know I haven't gone 16 innings before. So Citarella back out, and he will be facing Mr. Moronco. Forgot to put in Moronco as playing short. He came in the 12th inning. So Moronco is uncarded. So I will go by the computer screen and see what he does here. But if it goes 4, 5, or 6, obviously we'll go off Citarella's card. Oh, let's bring him over here. So Citarella to Moronco. And we'll get the numbers on Moronco on what he's done on the replay, if anything. I know he's done something. It hasn't been much, I don't think. Well, he's actually hitting 333. He's 2 for 6 on the replay. He was 1 for 11 in the season overall. 5-4, and that's a catcher X. So that's going to be Fisk. He's a 3. 3 and 17. E4. E4 and an 8. I don't think that's an error. It's not. 17 and the 3. It's a G3. So ground out. Moronco is out of there, and here's Ricky Henderson. Henderson, the batter. 3-9 for Ricky, and he grounds it to short. Ian is there, 2 down. And here's Willie Randolph. 2-5 for Randolph. That's a 1-3 triple. 4-20 is a single. That'll be a single for Willie Randolph. And so Mattingly gets another chance for the cycle. Took it away from him with the intentional walk, but now he has a chance again, if he can get a home run, to get that cycle. Tripled in the 5th, singled in the 7th, doubled in the 9th. And now he's got a chance against Citarella to walk it off. But he's had that chance before. He had a ballpark blast and couldn't quite get the right roll he needed. 4-3, and that's a fly ball right field X, so that's not going to happen. Calderon, a 3. 3-18. That's good all day. E6. We look at E6. 3, 4, 14, 17, and 18. And that is a 14. Did I say E6 and a 14? That is a 2-base error on Calderon. That's a 14. 14 on an E6 is a 2-base error. So at E9 on Calderon, a 2-base error E9 will put runners at second and third, and they will intentionally walk Winfield to load the bases and make Claudell Washington beat them. Even though it's a lefty matchup, they just don't want to have Winfield beat them. They don't want that in their craw. So it's all up to Washington. Bases are loaded, 2 outs, clutch situation for Claudell, and he loses these hits 1-6, 2-3-6, and 3-10. Of course, there's no place to put Claudell, so if you walk him, it's a walk-off walk. It's a 4-5, and that's a ground ball to second. We are going to the 16th inning. So the intentional walk pays off. We will go to the 16th inning. And I'm definitely running out of room on my score sheet, that's for sure. Not expecting a 16-inning game, obviously. Clements, let's see, Filson rather, back out. Pitch his second inning of work, and he'll be facing Manrique, Guillen, and Royster. Scheduled hitters here in the top of the 16th. That is a 2-10, and that's a ground ball to short. 1 away, and here's Ozzie Guillen. 2-4, and that's a pop out to short. So 2 quick outs. Filson came along at the right time for the Yankees, gave him a fresh arm. They still have Tim Stoddard in the bullpen if they need to go to somebody. He's like their emergency guy because he is kind of tired, but they'll use him if they have to. Here's Royster. That's a 6-7, and that's a walk. And see, if you have the ghost runner, you don't get games like this, which some people would say is a good thing, but I actually kind of like it being this way. So Royster, chance to try to get a lead. Needs a 6 or a 7. Doesn't get it, so he'll hold for Gary Reedus. That's a 3-2, and that's a ground ball to short. And we are going to the bottom of the 16th inning. So bottom of the 16th we go. Citarella. Let's see what he's done here. Citarella's gone 3 innings. So I think we're going to have to cap him at that. So they're going to have to go to the bullpen. He's only scheduled to go 2 innings, and he went 3 innings. So I think we're going to have to go to the last bullpen arm in the bench. And the bullpen, that's Joel McKeon, a left-hander. So Joel McKeon will be coming on to face Ward, Pagliarulo, and Cerrone. Joel McKeon. So we'll get the numbers on Citarella, what he did in his 3 innings, which, again, he's definitely overperformed. 3 innings pitched, 2 hits, no runs. He walked 2, but at least one of those was intentional. So that's going to do it for him. In fact, I think 2 of them were intentional. So McKeon, bottom of the 16th. Yankees have left 17 runners on base in this game. White Sox 11, but that's why the Yankees haven't won it yet. They have 17 runners on base. All right, so Gary Ward will face McKeon, bottom of the 16th. That is a 2-5, and that's a 1-2 single. And that'll be a ground out first base C, so that'll be Walker flipping to McKeon. One away. For Mike Pagliarulo. 4-5, and that is a strikeout by McKeon. So we're looking like the 17th inning is going to be coming up unless Rick Cerrone does something out of the ordinary. 4-6, and he strikes out. So we will go to the 17th inning. Wilson back out. And in the top of the 17th, it'll be Baines, Calderon, and Walker. Most definitely the longest in innings and time and everything in this replay. Wasn't counting on this. It's like playing a doubleheader. Here's Baines, 2-7, lefty, and that's a 1-17 single. 18-20, he lines to Randolph, and that's a base hit for Mr. Baines, and Baines now has 4 hits on the game. Here's Calderon, 6-8, and that's a fly ball to right field, 1 away. So 1 down for Greg Walker, the lefty. Lefty-lefty matchup. Five, 7, and that is a single, 2 stars. And that's going to be it for Filson. They're going to bring in Tim Stoddard to try to get out of this inning with the righties coming up. So the Yankees will go to their final bullpen arm. It goes past this, they'll have to get out a starter somewhere. So it will be Tim Stoddard coming on to pitch. 6th pitcher used by the Yankees. The White Sox have already used 6 pitchers, plus 3 holds. So runners at the corners and 1 out for Carlton Fisk. Infield is going to play in. You can't assume a double play here and let a run score on a ground ball be. So we're going to bring in Stoddard on the computer to face Fisk. So Stoddard on the replay, or on the real season, 4-3, 3.50 ERA, and 8 saves. On the replay, 6-4 with 1 save and 2.98 ERA, 60 innings pitched, 50 hits, 15 walks, 57 strikeouts. And with the infield in, he's got to be careful because a run could squirt through very easily on the ground ball. That's a 5-8, but he gets a strikeout, and that was what he needed. A huge strikeout there. Infield back to normal now for Ken Williams. That's a 2, balk or pass ball. We're looking at a pass ball rating on Cerrone, which is a 9. This could give him the go-ahead run if it's a pass ball of 9. It is not. Cerrone blocks it. Clutch block there. Here's Williams. 5-7. It's a ground ball second base X, so Randolph needs to make the play. He is a 2E17. 219 is good. E17, he's got to not make an error. E17, he has to avoid 6-15, 3-18. And that is a 13. That's just fine. And that will end the inning. We go to the bottom of the 17th. Still tied at 6. And McKeon back out. Maybe something didn't go right on my computer. I didn't put something in correctly. Let me fix this. Do this last play. I didn't put Fisk's strikeout in the game. That's what it was. Now, when Ken Williams grounds out, now we get the end of the inning. All right, so Mr. Moronco is your batter. Against McKeon. It's a 4-11. Moronco's a righty, and that's a walk. So Moronco will walk to start the bottom of the 17th. Moronco's run rating is a 12. He's no threat to steal. If Ricky could bunt, he would bunt, but Ricky says, Ricky don't bunt. So Ricky's going to swing away. 3-12, and that's a ballpark blast. Ricky could walk it off. He could walk it off on a 1-8, and he does not. It's a fly to left. The game continues. Been multiple times where a home run ballpark blast could be walked off, but the D20 has always been a big number. So actually, unless Randolph does something, hits into a double play or something like that, we're going to have Mattingly get another chance at a cycle. Go figure. 5-7, and that is a 1-17 chance here for Randolph. He could walk it off. 5-7 is a 1-17 home run. He's got normal power. 18-20 is a triple, so the game's going to be over either way. And it's officially a 2-run home run for Willie Randolph. He walks it off. A 2-run home run in the bottom of the 17th, and Mattingly does not get his cycle chance. But I don't think he cares. 2-run walk-off home run, 8-6 the final, as Willie Randolph wins it with home run number 5 on the replay. It's 7 real world. And in the longest game of the season, the Yankees outlast the White Sox by the score of 8-6. Winning pitcher is Tim Stoddard. He goes to 7-4. Get the numbers on Filson. Filson went 2 1/3. He gave up 3 hits, no runs, a walk, and no strikeouts. Stoddard went 2/3 of an inning with a strikeout, nothing else, and he got him out of that first and third jam with only 1 out. McKeon is going to go 1 1/3 innings. He will take the loss. He drops to 0-1. 1 1/3 innings, 1 hit, 2 runs. Of course, that hit being the home run, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. So total line score for the Yankees: 8 runs, 16 hits, and no errors. They left 17 on base. For the White Sox, 6 runs, 12 hits, and 1 error. They left 13 on base. Player of the game, Willie Randolph, 5 for 9 for Willie Randolph. He goes 5 for 9, only missing a triple for the cycle. 5 for 9, including the walk-off 2-run home run. So Willie Randolph is your player of the game. Yankees improved to 47-40. White Sox dropped to 40-43. And we'll see what that does to the standings in the American League East. Yankees may be closing in on Detroit for third place. Let's see. They're a half game behind Detroit for third place. They're 10.5 to get back to Milwaukee. They're a half game back of Detroit for third place. The White Sox drop a full game behind Minnesota. They're now 8.5 behind Oakland and a full game behind Minnesota for third place as they drop to fourth. So Willie Randolph does it. Thank you all for staying with me through this whole lengthy ordeal. Obviously, that sets the record for the longest game, period. And I was about to run out of pitchers, so I was kind of glad they did it. The only thing I've wished is that Mattingly would have had another chance for the cycle. But, you know, as they say, individual accolades aren't as important as team wins. So that's the way that goes. So that's going to do it from here. Next game might not be quite as exciting as this one, but we're going to be in Texas for Cleveland and Texas. Phil Niekro against Greg Harris in that one. Not exactly a thrilling matchup. Texas 36-47, Cleveland 32-52. But now that I don't have the Rockies at night, I can play all 7 games during the week. I can fit 2 games in the evenings, and the other games I'll be playing, during the 5 days of the week. So this will be tomorrow morning's game, Cleveland and Texas. And then Friday's game will be California hosting Detroit. And probably tomorrow night will be, or either tonight if I feel like it, I don't have what's going on. The other game is Boston at Seattle, which is Oil Can Boy against Mark Langston. So that's going to do it from here after this lengthy 17-inning affair that the stream almost went 2 hours, hour and 55 minutes we're at right now. So thank you all for staying with me. Until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and we'll see you all down the road.